Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News live on YouTube.
Good evening, Middle Georgia. I'm Amanda Peralta.
I'm Greg Lloyd. Amanda and I thank you for watching WGXA News at 5:30. Well, new tonight is a story you'll see only on WGXA. A Warner Robins couple living in conditions at an apartment complex that they describe as filthy. They say they worry about their health and safety.
Tonight, they're turning to WGXA News to get answers. Carlos Stevens spoke to the couple today, and Carlos, they showed you pictures. What did you see?
Guys, the pictures I saw today illustrated some very dangerous living conditions, including mold. And after talking to the family, today they're getting no answers. This is Austin Point Apartment Homes off Watson Boulevard in Warner Robins. The Armstrong family has lived here since 2021.
They don't care.
Heather Armstrong says they've dealt with multiple issues over the span of 3 years, even after being moved to a second apartment. She says her and her husband have reached out for help on multiple occasions.
I've sent emails of the damage, my dressers, my bed frame that has been damaged, pictures of the water all over my floor. They're never in office. We have to leave our name and number and they never contact us back. So really, basically, we're stuck.
Issues they say has forced them to live elsewhere, including with her mom and in a hotel. They asked apartment management to reimburse them for the cost. They said no.
Trying to put us in a third apartment and not even refund us for our hotel stays that we've paid out of pocket. They're just wanting to give us credit, and they say we don't have to pay rent for this third apartment.
The family is concerned about safety. The window in her son's room doesn't lock. They have to keep it closed using a pole. And if it's not safety they are worried about, it's their health.
Every morning they wake up and, stuffy, coughing, sneezing. So then it starts, sore throat.
Then it's hard for us to breathe in the morning.
They gave local management another chance to fix their concerns. When that didn't work, they took to social media looking for answers, and I was tagged under their social media post to try and help the family get answers.
I have a few questions for you.
Oh, I don't have any answers for you.
Here's a sampling of the questions they wouldn't answer. Why do you continue to offer new apartments to them? Tell us what you have done to address their concerns. Do you think your response time to their concerns is adequate? So guys, as you can see, the office offering us no explanation today, and in fact they asked us to leave. But of course, this is a story we will continue to follow and bring you any new developments both on air and online at WGXA.tv. But for now, we're live here in Warner Robins. I'm Carlos Stevens, WGXA News. Back to you.
All right, Carlos, thank you. To local crime, a teenager is facing a murder charge in connection to a fatal shooting back in April. Deputies say that 17-year-old Raheem Smith shot and killed Ozias Gore during a drive-by on Bloomfield Road on April the 8th. 15-year-old Gore later died at the hospital. Smith was already behind bars for a multiple-day crime stint in early May, where he and several other teens held the family at gunpoint, according to deputies, and stole their vehicle and fired shots at innocent people in store parking lots. Smith is currently being held without bond.
And the Houston County deputy is demoted following a DUI. Captain Clay Chambers says Deputy Bob Durham was arrested in the early hours on Monday. Chambers says Durham has been demoted from patrol and reassigned to the detention center.
And take a look at this, a truck crashing into a Holly Street home in Warner Robins. According to Interim Police Chief Roy Whitehead, they are investigating this as a DUI wreck. He says the truck hit a stop sign and a fire hydrant before crashing into the home. Somehow there was no damage done to the house or the hydrant. No word yet on any charges.
Georgia State troopers are using a recent wild wreck to stress the importance of our move over laws. Take a look at this video. It looks straight out of something like the Dukes of Hazzard. A Lowndes County deputy's body cam capturing the moment a car ramps off a tow truck, flying and flipping before crashing back down, hitting another car. Deputies were making several arrests following a chase last week when the car went soaring, almost causing the tow truck to hit its driver. It's not clear if any fines or charges will come, and the driver is in the hospital with serious injuries but is expected to recover.
In Dooley County, a single-family home is lost to a fire. Multiple fire departments responded to this house on Drayton Loop last night. The double-wide home was completely engulfed in flames when responders arrived. Luckily, no one was home during the blaze and no injuries were reported.
And the Bibb County Sheriff's Office needs your help to find this missing woman. They say 69-year-old Diane Bowen has not been heard from in over a month since April 28th. Deputies say she could possibly be a danger to herself. Bowen has blonde hair and brown eyes. If you recognize her or know her whereabouts, contact the Sheriff's Office or Macon Regional Crime Stoppers.
Construction on the Macon Mall and Amphitheater is still a work in progress. Today, the city employees got a tour of that site.
Our Brianna Cook tags along on the tour and joins us live now. Brianna?
Greg and Amanda, officials say that they are in awe of the development happening here at the amphitheater and at the Macon Mall.
It's just amazing to see the progress.
Construction crews have been working hard to bring a fresh new appeal to Macon. Today, city employees toured the amphitheater and parts of Macon Mall that are currently under construction. Keith Moffitt, Macon Bibb County manager, says he believes once construction is done, the area will get more attraction.
Oh, I think it'll be one of the linchpins that will bring this side of the community together. It fosters more development on this side of town.
The amphitheater will hold 12,000 people, which will be the second largest in the state of Georgia. Officials are hoping jobs for the amphitheater will be open in fall of this year. The amphitheater will be right next to the Macon Mall, which is also getting an upgrade. In the mall will be a precinct for the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, along with the new Board of Elections, pickleball courts, and a new and improved courtroom. Moffitt says businesses in the area will start seeing an increase of visitors and more money.
We had representatives from the eBid here today to talk about some of their marketing plans on the Eisenhower corridor. And again, with the mall being the hub of activity here, with the increased foot traffic, I think that the marketing numbers will show that it'll be a great opportunity for several successful businesses here.
He is sure that Macon will be more of a place to visit with these upgrades.
Well, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and if you can see the pictures of the construction going on, that we are fastly approaching completion, and just know that this will be a destination. Macon is the hub for this region.
The Board of Elections in the courtroom is expected to open July 1st of this year. Reporting live in Macon, Brianna Cook, WGXA News.
A cloudy morning breaking for some sun by the afternoon. Nonetheless, still a pretty warm Wednesday.
It sure is warm out there, Amanda. We've got meteorologist Ryan Mirando live in the Weather Center with all the details about the weekend warm-up. I thought at first weekend, it's Wednesday. Am I seeing wrong?
About the weekend, Greg, I'm always looking forward to the weekend. It's something that really is great for every Wednesday. You know, it's just almost here, 2 or so days away, but it is a nice middle of the week. Most of us are dry, but we do have a few pop-up storms, especially for areas really south of Macon. Just 1 or 2 pop-up storms. Still tracking this one right now. A pretty good downpour in really southern Sumter County, really out of our viewing area, but it's going to be slowly drifting to the north and west here over the next half an hour or so, but a dry and nice lookout over Mercer University with our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network. Temperatures today into the mid-80s. We do have a little bit of that breeze out of the east at around 10 miles per hour, but the dew points, that measure of moisture in the atmosphere, once again begins to tick up day by day after the refreshing air mass that we had last weekend. Most of us right now are into the 60s, so it is feeling a little bit more humid outside, but it will be a comfortable Wednesday evening for us. 81 degrees but at 7 o'clock with a mixture of clouds and sun. 68 degrees by 1 a.m. and temperatures will cool down into the mid-60s for the overnight hours. I'll talk more about that weekend warm-up and some tropical developments in the Gulf of Mexico, all coming up in your full forecast. Greg, Amanda.
All right, Ryan, thank you. And remember to download that free WGXA weather app. Ryan is back in less than 20 minutes, and he'll have your full forecast for you.
Congressional leaders feel confident they can get the debt ceiling bill over the finish line today. But which party gets the better end of the deal depends on how many votes the House Republicans can collect and support. Right now, there's a growing number of conservatives saying they'll vote no, meaning House Speaker Kevin McCarthy might need Democrats to help. Both sides know the stakes.
That he is depending on Democrats to avert disaster, that is a reflection of the extremism, of the brinksmanship, and the ideological rot that has taken hold of the Republican Party.
Leader Jeffries said yesterday Republicans agreed to put up 150 votes. Is that accurate? Do you think you can do it?
I don't count the votes. Talk to Emma.
If GOP leaders can't get 150 of their members' support, some Democrats think that signals President Biden outfoxed Republican negotiators. It might also give conservatives a justification for seeking to oust McCarthy from his speakership role.
If the debt limit deal passes, people who have federal student loan debt will have to start making payments again. The Biden administration paused payments during the pandemic and has extended it 8 times. But a provision in the debt ceiling agreement says that pause will end in late August, and 44 million people will have to resume payments. There is some concern that the process may not go so smoothly. Millions of borrowers could have a different servicer handling their loans since the last time they made a payment. Student loan experts recommend people reach out to their loan servicer as soon as possible to make sure their payments get to the right place at the right time.
Republican presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis is shaking off a rough announcement hitting the campaign trail in one of the nation's biggest states when it comes to choosing the next president, Iowa.
Skylar Talal brings us more on his message to voters.
American decline is not inevitable. It is a choice.
Ron DeSantis makes his first official stop in Iowa after announcing his 2024 presidential run. Taking the stage, DeSantis shares his vision for the U.S. and his track record as Florida's governor.
And we must choose a new direction for our country. We must choose a path that will lead to a revival of American greatness.
Governor Kim Reynolds introducing DeSantis. He shares policy similarities between Florida and Iowa and points out issues he's addressed as the governor of Florida.
We in the state of Florida held the line when freedom hung in the balance. We refused to allow our state to descend into some type of Faucian dystopia where people's livelihoods were destroyed and their freedoms were curtailed.
DeSantis enters the race in an already crowded Republican field, and while many issues he's dealt with in Florida have faced opposition and criticism, he says it's part of what makes him a good leader.
People told me, Governor, what you're doing, you're cutting against the grain, you're getting hammered, you're not going to be long for this world politically if you keep doing what you're doing. But you know, leadership is about doing what's right, even in the face of intense criticism, even when people are coming at you.
DeSantis also gaining support from Iowans in the room as he focuses on issues such as the southern border, the current economy, and the hiring of more IRS agents. His wife, Casey DeSantis, takes the stage as well, touting his ability to get things done.
Ron DeSantis always stands up for what's right. He never backs down. He says what he's going to do and he gets it done.
Following this event, DeSantis will be making his way across Iowa Wednesday, visiting Sioux City, Pella, Cedar Rapids, and Council Bluffs. In Clive, Skylar Talal reporting.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie set to announce a 2024 presidential bid next Tuesday in New Hampshire, according to Axios. A one-time ally of former President Trump, Christie is now firmly opposed to the former White House resident, calling him, quote, a puppet of Putin. For months, Christie has been laying into Trump, arguing GOP presidential candidates should do the same.
One of the reasons I think he can't come back is he failed us. He failed us as president based upon what he himself told us in 2015 and 2016 he would do if he became president.
The GOP field is getting more crowded with Trump, DeSantis, and now Christie all in. Axios reports that Christie's campaign will focus on speaking to America's, quote, exhausted majority.
As the candidates hit the campaign trail, so do voter advocacy groups. Tonight in Macon, Pro Georgia is kicking off its Go Vote Georgia tour. The tour is a coalition of dozens of civic engagement and advocacy organizations. It will host some tours of the Tubman Museum before a forum on key issues to voters along the impacts of laws and policy passed by the General Assembly this year. Leaders from BIB are expected to participate in the forum and take questions.
And today is the last day of May in 2023, but it was a pretty nice day today, but we are getting ready for hurricane season, which does start tomorrow. So in your midweek headlines, we do have some isolated rain chances as we head into the June months. Not going to have any widespread shower of days. The 90s are making a comeback for the weekend, and we are watching that area in the Gulf of Mexico right now that does have a low chance of formation. So let's get you right out to the tropical satellite. This is the area that we're watching. This likely will be impacting the peninsula of Florida, whether or not it does form into a named storm. But over the next 2 and 7 days, it does have about a 20% chance of formation. The models right now are showing that this crosses over the peninsula and then out into the open Atlantic and not impacting us, but that still could change with time, just something that we're likely not going to be impacted by the system that will be moving through. Most of us are dry at this point. We've got a few pop-up showers and storms right now. We've got the one downpour. Most of the downpours are in South Georgia, but a little bit of rain in southern Sumter County coming near Americus as these storms are pushing to the north and west. But the muggy meter, those dew points are starting to be on the uptake. We're not getting that sweltering humidity like in the summer months, but it's definitely more noticeable, especially after the cooler weekend that we have. We'll be into that a bit humid range really for the rest of this week and even for the start of next week as well. And not only is the humidity going to be on that a bit more humid, but the temperatures are finally going to begin to climb back up. Our average high this time of year is 89 degrees. So we'll be into the upper 80s as we start the first few days of June and going for a high of 90 degrees. Again, we've only had one 90-degree day so far this year, so that would be the second one of many for 2023. Satellite and radar, though, showing that we will have some pop-up storms still mostly over South Georgia right now. And here's the portions of the rain that we're watching in the Gulf of Mexico that will be over Florida, but most likely we'll be not getting much of the rain from that system. So for the rest of tonight, it's partly cloudy, another cool night, a rather seasonable one, 65 degrees for the overnight low. We will have a few more of those pop-up storms, but not going to have any of that widespread rain. And then tomorrow will be a day like today with mostly cloudy skies, but it still will be a day with temperatures below average, 64 degrees at 7 o'clock, 81 by 1 o'clock, going for a high of 86 degrees. And we will keep the rain chances on the much lower end, really not going to have any non-zero days, but a lot of like where we have the very hit or miss pop-up storms and popcorn storms that are not really any widespread rain for the near future. So in your 10-day forecast tomorrow, a day that's a lot like today, a mixture of sun and clouds, the high still 86 degrees. There's our average high of 89. And we'll start to get up to that as we approach the first few days of June here, as the first day is really tomorrow. It's muggy on Friday, 88 degrees. And heading into the first weekend of June, it does look pretty nice, but that humidity is still in the air and those temperatures starting to climb up into the low 90s, 88 on Saturday, 90 on Sunday. Then heading back to work next Monday, temperatures continue to stay up into the upper 80s and low 90s. It's mainly sunny though on Monday, Tuesday, hot and humid, back to that 90-degree mark. And Wednesday, we rinse and repeat, another day in the low 90s. So lastly, here's your Harrison's Body Shop Fish and Game forecast. Peaks at 2:20 a.m. and 12:20 p.m.
Let's get on board is the mantra for one local superintendent who just completed his first year as the head of a school district and is now unveiling his plans as he heads into the next school year with thousands of kids behind him. And this week's Making the Grade, WGXA spoke to Bibb Superintendent Dr. Dan Sims to discuss what he hopes to do in the next 5 years. The superintendent of Bibb County Schools, Dr. Dan Sims, discussed his new strategic plan with stakeholders as the 2022-2023 school year came to a close. He says the new plan was created by listening to the community and consists of 3 separate parts: student achievement, staff effectiveness, and stakeholder engagement.
We want this to be a plan that everybody embraces, where everybody sees themselves as a part of the plan and everybody engages in the work that we have to do. We have no choice. We have to do this work on behalf of our students together.
At the reception where the new strategic plan was discussed, attendees received a new lapel pin that was designed by district leaders. It signifies Build for Bibb and is in the shape of Superman's emblem, with each side having a different significance: lead, learn, innovate, and serve.
We feel that if everybody gets behind us as we lead in this strategic plan, it's going to strengthen the volume of support that we have school by school, block by block, student by student, which is going to result in increased outcomes for students.
The Chief of Staff for the Bibb County School District, Dr. Katita Levitt, was also in attendance for the meeting, and she discussed the importance of having a new plan going forward and what the next few months will look like.
So the next few months really look like getting the strategic plan from a district level to the ground. And what I mean by getting it to the ground is getting it to the classroom, really helping our teachers understand what that means in terms of implementation. What are going to be the resources? What's going to be the curriculum? And what are going to be those things that we're expecting for them to do with our individual students?
The previous plan, Victory in Our Schools, had been implemented several years. Dr. Sims and Dr. Lovett believed it was time to reassess and redirect based on where the community was going, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. She says the key elements for teachers within the district will be professional development, resource building, and staff well-being. Reporting in Macon, Amanda Peralta, WGXA News. Members of the Elaine H. Lucas Senior Center got to work today to encourage others to do more. And the Senior Center joined an estimated 100,000 seniors across the U.S. in celebrating the 30th Annual National Senior Health and Fitness Day. This is the first time the Senior Center has participated in the National Day to promote an active and healthy lifestyle.
It's very important for seniors to stay healthy, to reduce the risk of chronic disease, also to keep physical activity. We want to make sure that we are mobile and that we are mobile for as long as possible. And regular physical activity can help us to reduce the risk of chronic disease.
There are now 2 National Senior Health and Fitness Day events every year, spring and fall. The fall event will be held on Wednesday, October 26th.
Some Middle Georgia educators spent the day learning about STEM topics before taking their lessons back to their students. Georgia Power says they hosted the 2-day professional development workshop to support the continued success of STEM programming across Georgia schools. Educators got to learn about circuits, programming, robotic parts, and functions from certified instructors.
There's so many cool things that robots can do, and students are learning how to program them at a very early age. So we want to enable teachers to know how to teach this as a new skill and also arm them with some great resources.
The company is hoping the educators will share their enthusiasm with their students who will follow them in the STEAM career path to bolster Georgia's workforce.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Thigpen. I'm here again today at All About Animals Rescue in Macon, Bibb-County. I'm joined again with Lisa and Allison. And guess who we have today with us?
We have the inquisitive Journey today. She's about a year old. She's so sweet, y'all. We've done a segment with her before.
She's very sweet.
And she still hasn't been adopted, so we don't understand why. She is fully bedded and ready for her forever home. Come here, Journey. Let's see if we come in front.
Yeah, let's get your face, Journey. We want to see you on TV.
She's dog friendly. She loves people. As you can see, she's wondering, hey, where am I at? What's going on?
Yeah.
Over here, she's smelling some of the other dogs that have been here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But she's super. She's just a great girl. She really is. She'll make a great companion.
And good with kids. And you said she's about a year old?
Hey, see, she's about a year old. Hey, sweet.
And fully vetted and ready to go. So if someone would like to adopt Journey, how would they go about doing that?
You see Allison, send us a message on Facebook, All About Animals Rescue, and let us know you saw Journey on TV, and we'll get back with you as soon as possible.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get on the line and do that right now. Let's find Journey a good home. Thank you so much, Lisa and Allison.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The top spellers in the U.S. and beyond are in Maryland this week, competing in the 95th Scripps National Spelling Bee. There are 231 kids in this year's bee. They are from all 50 states, as well as the Bahamas, Canada, Germany, Ghana, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, and Puerto Rico. The youngest speller is 9 years old. The oldest is 14. The final round takes place Thursday night and will be broadcasted on Ion and Bounce. The winner takes home $50,000, a trophy, and bragging rights. Last year, 14-year-old Harini Logan from San Antonio, Texas, won in the first ever spell-off tiebreaker. The winning word was morin, which is a bird.
Impressive.
Wow.
Do you guys think that you would learn the entire dictionary of words for $50,000?
I did
for
do
$50,000.
Okay, for $50,000, maybe. I did do a spelling bee once in like 5th grade, And I actually won out of like the classmates. Then after that, you were supposed to go like between each grades. Then I didn't make it any further than that. Versus like the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, I was like a puny 5th grader, and they were like, "Yeah, that's wrong." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Sorry.
So I did one spelling bee, and that's about it.
I've done one before too. I think I got like far in my class, but like same thing. And
Do you
I did
have
not
like
win
a
$50,000.
do you like the writing technique, or like, you know, have you seen the people where they like write it on their arm or they spell it out with something so you can like visualize how to spell
No,
it?
spelling was actually the only part that I really enjoyed about English class as a
Really?
kid. Yeah,
Wow.
because I was like, I love spelling. I don't know why. I was a nerd.
It's a lost art for sure. It really is, especially with computers spelling everything.
Yes, that's true.
I hope you'll like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's it for the news at 5:30.
We invite you to join us at 6 on ABC 16.
Have a good day.